Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So this is the March edition of my Favorites Revisited series, where I'm looking back to my favorites videos from 2012 and just seeing what my thoughts are on the products that I had mentioned in those videos, just what my feelings are on those products now. So I'll get started. And a lot of the products are stuff that I've had in recent different projects. So it's kind of funny and interesting to see just how long some of these products have been around for. So that was kind of an interesting thing for me to see. So the first thing I mentioned was this Revlon Lip Butter and Berry Smoothie. And that was kind of fun to see. This is my favorite from 3 years ago. And if you're watching my Project 10 Pan videos, this is something that I just finished up very recently. So kind of crazy to see how long that's taken me to use this. And I have to say, with finishing this up, this definitely isn't a favorite anymore. It was just kind of a messy formula, and there's things that I prefer more than this. So it's definitely nothing that I would repurchase, but it was kind of fun to see that this was one of my favorites a few years ago. So that's for the first item. The second thing I had mentioned is the Maybelline Great Lash, which is like the clear version of it, and I would use that as like a brow gel. And I remember, a few years ago, it's kind of hard to find a lot of good brow gels or any brow gel at the drugstore. I remember even for Great Lash that I would have to search and it wouldn't always be available at the store. I think there's more brow gel options now, but Great Lash was my only option, and I don't think it worked that well. So then I kind of ventured into some higher end brow gels like the Anastasia brow gel. Now I'm currently using the NARS clear brow gel, and I have to say that those products work a lot better, and especially for my eyebrows, they really need to be controlled, so I do prefer the kind of higher end brow gels. And Maybelline Great Lash is definitely not a favorite anymore, nothing that I would repurchase. My next item is an eyeliner. It's the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the color Ransom, and I don't have that anymore. It's like an electric, purple shade. And this one is kind of funny. I recently did a decluttering of my makeup. I had posted the video, it's makeup I'm getting rid of. And that was one of the items that I decided to get rid of just because I hadn't used it in so long. I do like purple liner, but one that I prefer over the Ransom, and this is something that I just finished up in a Project Pan. This is the Rockstar shade, so I can make a swatch of it. But this kind of like a brownish purple. It's a little bit of a deeper purple. So I do like purple liner, but the Ransom shade is just nothing that I've used in the past few years. So it's kind of funny that that was my favorite back a few years ago, and now it was just something I was never using, and I actually got rid of that one. So the next item I had mentioned was a specific shade from the Naked 2 palette. And in the Naked 2 palette is definitely my favorite eyeshadow palette, so this is definitely still a favorite. But the specific shade that I had mentioned is Foxy, which is the kind of yellow, cream yellow matte shade. And I used to wear this all over the lid, which I don't do that as much anymore. Now my favorite colors from this palette are more kind of the shimmery, little darker shades. So I really love Suspect and YDK, for instance. So I'm going to have to try out using Foxy more often when I use this palette. But that was my favorite shade a few years ago, but definitely still love this palette as a whole. Definitely still a favorite. The next thing I had mentioned was a hair item. It was the Paul Mitchell Super Skinny Serum. And if you remember, when I did finish 6 by Christmas, that was one of the items that I was finishing up, and I actually did finish it up at the end of last year. So it's kind of amazing. It just kind of shows you how long it takes for hair products to get finished up. I did really like that item. It's really helped kind of with frizz and just taming my hair. But I'm trying to get through a lot of my older hair products, so I'm not really going out and repurchasing hair products at the moment. Currently, I'm trying to finish up, this is in my Finish 5 by Cinco de Mayo. It's the Veda Light Element Smoothing Fluid. So this kind of does the same thing as the Super Skinny Serum. But yeah, it kind of shows you just how long certain things take to finish up, which is kind of amazing. The last beauty item that I mentioned is another hair product. It's the Aussie 3-Minute Miracle, and it's just a deep conditioning treatment. I really love that stuff. It smells like coconuts. It's really inexpensive, and it leaves my hair really soft. So I really like having a deep conditioning treatment. Currently, what I'm using is the Macadamia Natural Oil Deep Repair Mask. I've really been enjoying using this. But definitely in the future, I would consider repurchasing the Aussie 3-Minute Miracle. It's just fun to try out different things. So I have been enjoying using this one. And then my last two favorites are non-beauty favorites, or kind of entertainment sort of favorites. So the first thing I mentioned was a book, and it was Divergent by Veronica Roth. And I love this book. I was really into, after I read Hunger Games, the Hunger Games trilogy, I was really into finding books like Hunger Games, other dystopian, YA fiction sort of books. And I read a few different series, but this was definitely my favorite, non-Hunger Games book. And I love this book. I read it really quickly, but I have to say, as a trilogy as a whole, I didn't love as much. The second book, Insurgent, I didn't love as much. And then I didn't like Allegiant, the third book in the trilogy. And because I didn't like the books in the trilogy as a whole, it's made me not want to watch the movies as much. But I do think that I should watch Divergent at some point, since I did really love this book. So this book definitely still a favorite. Not the trilogy as a whole, but this book in particular is still a favorite. And then the last thing I mentioned, in March of 2012, the Hunger Games movie came out. And I have the DVD of it now, but this was definitely a favorite. Definitely still is a favorite. I love the Hunger Games movies. I love the first two. The third one I didn't love as much, but I'm hopeful the fourth and final movie will be great. But definitely this is still a favorite as well. So that is everything. Those were all the favorites that I had from 2012 and my thoughts on them now. And that is everything. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.